Kanda here in Accra and Tamale. We're live on Kesmi 107.1 FM. If you can hear us in White on W93.5 around the world, we're streaming live on 3news.com. Download the TuneIn app from the Google Play or Apple iOS store and listen to us on the go. Coming up this afternoon, Health Minister Kweku Agyeman fails to appear before Health Committee of Parliament over shortage of essential vaccines across the country. We're live to Parliament shortly, where member of the committee Muntaka Mubarak is demanding the minister be subpoenaed.
I just believe that, Honorable Chair, I'm of the firm belief that this committee should issue a subpoena.
Also, the National Identification Authority, along with the EC, are expected over the yet-to-be-laid constitutional instrument seeking to make the Ghana card the only identity document for voter registration. Also coming up this afternoon, second Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joseph Osei, takes on political parties in the country, accusing them of doing nothing to train new entrants to the legislature as he expresses fear young legislators are reducing the House to a boxing ring. And with Africa's most populous country sitting on tenterhooks after a fiercely contested polls, Nigerians are calling on the Electoral Management Body to expedite declaration of results. We're live to Nigeria shortly, plus some more for you as football world pays tribute to arguably the greatest player of all time as Lionel Messi wins a record 7th FIFA Best Player Award.
Officially, the best player of the world, Leo Messi, campeón del mundo, Argentina.
I think Messi is the best player in the world. I think he deserves it.
And it was a clean sweep for Argentina as coach Lionel Scaloni and keeper Emiliano Martinez won top awards on the night. Details shortly if you stay with us. A pleasure that you could be a part of this afternoon's bulletin. It's streaming live on Facebook. The handle's 3FM 927. Also on Twitter, same handles 3FM 927. I am Eric Mawuena Egbeta. Let's get into the details now, because Health Minister Kweku Agyeman today failed to appear before the Health Committee of Parliament to answer questions over the shortage of critical vaccines across the country. Concerns over the last few weeks have been raised from various parts of the country, including within the Ghana Health Service, over the lack of critical vaccines, which some experts alluded to the rise of measles cases in northern part of the country. The concerns now appear to have reached Parliament, where members are demanding answers from the minister. The Health Minister, however, did not show up, with Chair of the Health Committee, Dr. Ayu Efriye, stated no explanations were offered for his absence.
Unfortunately for us this morning, the Minister of Health is not here, the Ghana Health Service is not here, the Vaccine Control Program not here, and we have the National Health Insurance Authority. Business will, however, go on. And before the business goes on, I will leave it for the ranking member to also speak on the issue. And now invite the NHIA to speak, and our position on this issue made clear to the public through you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, in your opening remarks, you've just stated that the ministry is not here and some of the agencies invited are also not here. But you are the chairman of the committee. I think that you must also let us know if by any way they go to the committee to give you any reasons why they are not here.
So that's the ranking on the Health Committee. Kwabena Kando also speaking on the absence of the minister. Well, that angered member of the committee, Muntaka Mubarak, who's demanding the Health Minister be subpoenaed. And we'll hear from Muntaka Mubarak pretty shortly. He's been raising concerns. We can take a listen to him now.
So if such an important matter will come before the committee and the minister is invited and he doesn't show up, I just believe that, Honorable Chair, I'm of the firm belief that this committee should issue a subpoena, because we are mandated by not only the Constitution, but also our standing orders. If we invite state agencies or any persons to appear before us as Committee of Parliament, and they do not respect the committee, we'll move to the next stage. And the next stage is simply to issue a subpoena, so that you don't give them any option than to appear. And failure to do that, then you follow up with the necessary consequences. So, Mr. Chairman and honorable colleagues, it is my belief that because of the importance of this matter, it is only fair that we issue a subpoena on the minister and the Ghana Health Service, so that they must mandatorily appear. Mr. Chair, they cannot tell us when they want to come and meet us. That is not acceptable. You write to a minister telling him that I want you to appear on 28th. Now, from your conversation with the chief director, she says that they can appear on the 7th of March. What happens once all these things are happening?
So that's a member of the Health Committee, Muntaka Mubarak, speaking there. Shortly, we'll connect to my colleague Evelyn Tengma, who's in Parliament, for us and bring you the very latest as to how all of this is playing out at the committee level. But we're staying a while in Parliament because Second Deputy Speaker Joseph Osei-Wusu, he's blamed political parties for what he says is the poor quality of new entrants into the legislature. According to the Bekwai MP, parties, most especially the two major ones in the country, have failed to adequately train members before allowing them contest on their tickets to be legislators. His concerns follows what has been a growing interest among young people seeking to enter Parliament on the ticket of both the NDC and the NPP. For Joe Wise, as he's mostly called, young people entering Parliament has only reduced the legislature to a house of chaos.
Sometimes the parties even go out to recruit people who have not demonstrated that they have the intellectual and social capacity to be public officers. Because they are popular, they can win the seat. That appears to be the only consideration that parties give to people who are going to contest the seat. The parties will have the responsibility to groom people before they become representatives here. Are not doing anything. I won't even say much. They're not doing anything. Unfortunately, it appears to me that those who are vile in their choice of language, those who are rude in their attitudes towards their opponents, and sometimes even, internal opponents, those who can make the most catching comments about others, are gaining more and more popularity, and they are being put in the front. The level of decorum I observed when I joined in and what I observed today, there's a vast difference. If you ask me, it is a bad reflection of young people coming to the chamber. I'm afraid that if we don't curb it now, in the next 2-3 more parliaments, we'll not have a parliament, we'll have a boxing ring.
So that's Joseph Osei-Wusu, who's the second deputy, the first deputy speaker of Parliament, speaking there. And that position has, however, been challenged by the NDC. We'll hear from them shortly. But Professor David Abdullah is a senior governance advisor of the African Parliamentary Network. He's joined us on phone. Many thanks, Prof, for speaking to us. So, of all of the challenges of the 8th Parliament 30 years on, is decorum and the concern that Parliament has seen infighting in the last few years been the biggest of all of the challenges of the current Parliament, which is being raised by the first Deputy Speaker?
Yes, we have a Ghanaian saying that those who are going to follow learn from those that have gone before. So if the Deputy Speaker is talking about decorum, I think it has to start with them. I think it's very, very important. Yes, and we saw what happened in some of the sessions of Parliament.
But does it lie on a lack of training? Because that's the argument that he's made, that political parties here in Ghana, and we can really reduce it to just the NPP and the NDC, not training their members enough. Is it the duty?
That is just one aspect of it. Training is very important, but training does not necessarily mean you should be in a classroom. Learning by doing. And I'm saying people who are coming up and they are going to be in parliament, learn from those that are already there. And if those that are already there are not giving a very good representation of themselves, how do you expect those that are going to follow? Yes, of course, in some countries that I know, they have leadership institutes for those in their party, the young ones coming up, to train them to become leaders, not only of their party, but also to be in positions in parliament and to be able to hold on to that. So that is true. But I'm trying to argue that learning is not a one-way street. It's a two-way street. There is the demonstrational aspect, and that demonstrational aspect must come from those who are already in parliament.
And beyond learning from what's already been done in parliament, there's an argument that's made that even now those in parliament don't serve the interest of their constituents. And if you cite the examples of when parliament was reduced to chaos, it was a conversation on e-levy where a lot of the verdict out there at the time was that Ghanaians did not want the e-levy but was being forced down the throats of Ghanaians, which resulted in the chaos. And so if MPs are not representing the interest of their constituents, where then do they lie or have the moral rights to be questioning young people as to reducing the house to a house of chaos?
Well, that's what I do. I do agree with you. So that's what I said in my preliminary statement, that those who are ahead and those who are following, they learn from the footsteps of those who are ahead. And I think that is where my argument lies, that it is not just training in a classroom that is important. Some aspects of training are people observing and seeing how things are. If people, who are ahead of us have that decorum, definitely we will follow through that. If you go to Japan, for example, most of the youth, they learn from the fact that they don't throw papers around because their elders don't throw papers around. And when they finish classes, they clean up. So I think that is what must be the most important thing, not just talking about it. Talk is cheap.
Right then, Prof. I appreciate that you could share your thoughts with us this afternoon.
Thank you.
That's Professor David Abdullahi. He is the Senior Governance Advisor with the African Parliamentary Network. Let's now hear from the Registrar of the Ghana Institute for Social Democracy and former Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Peter Boamo Tokuno, react to this particular matter.
We have a long way to go, though, in providing a platform that will bring in more young people. Even though a lot have come in already, we will need to, moving into 2024, put in some programs that would get the young people rallied and cleansed. It is only the young people clinging to your party and following the cause that will bring the victory in 2024. We cannot do that without the young people. The experience comes in so many forms. And mind you, the young people of today even gets the experience more earlier. You cannot have parliamentary experience before you go to parliament. Then there will not be any essence. Every young person who is worth its salt, who wants to, take on the path of political leadership, learns very fast and they pick very fast along the way. And you will see that most of the people who have made significant impact in politics are people who started politics at a very young age.
That's Dr. Peter Boamo Tokuno. He is a former Deputy Secretary General of the NDC. We'll return to one of our top stories this afternoon. My colleague Evelyn Tingma is joining us via phone as the Health Minister failed to turn up in Parliament today. Many thanks, Evelyn. So, expected before the House, but he wasn't there. What has been the explanation from the Chief Director of the Ministry as to why the Health Minister is wanting to come to Parliament on March 7th?
Right. So, as you rightly said, the Minister was supposed to appear before the Health Committee of Parliament, not the entire House. And he, together with the NIA and the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, and other agencies of health, they were supposed to appear before the committee. And all these agencies, except the NIA, appeared before the committee. Now, the chairman, when he started the meeting, said he was not aware that the minister was not coming. And the ranking member said he spoke to the minister himself, but the minister said he was out of town and that he was attending a funeral. And but as of today, he's still not back. So the committee members were surprised why the minister, we're talking about vaccines here for children, and the minister will have to choose funeral over such a very important issue. So the committee members, they were really worried about that. And one of the members of the committee, Honorable Mutaka, asked that the minister be subpoenaed before them because, this is unacceptable. The minister cannot just decide not to appear before them. And he indicated that he sent a word via phone that they should reschedule the meeting to the 7th of March. And this, the committee members said they will not agree. He has to be subpoenaed, and which would mean that he will have to be censured. And the chairman of the committee, Nana Epiye, was really disturbed about this and said that would be the case because for this one, it's health matter, and we're talking about children here. So if they subpoena the minister, he has to be censured. This one, there will not be partisan anything of that sort. So they will have to censure the minister and all that. So basically, the committee met with only the NIA, and they asked them a few questions, whether they were owed arrears of the vaccine payment, and the NIA said they were not owing any arrears, and that in 2022, they made some payments of 72 million cedis out of, they made a payment of 71 million cedis out of 72 million cedis that was allocated to them.
Right.
And that was the only question they asked the NIA. So the minister, as it stands now, the committee says they were going to meet as members and then find a way forward, whether but for the subpoena, they said they were going to subpoena him. But the committee members will be out of town and today, 3 p.m., and they will be back on Saturday. So they want to find out when they will have to reschedule the minister to appear before them. But the subpoena, definitely, they said it will come on. Mawuena.
Right, and that's my colleague Evelyn Tingma providing details as to exactly what happened at the committee level. We're taking you out of Ghana because that's been one of the biggest stories all throughout the week. The elections in neighboring Nigeria, and the country sitting on tenterhooks after the fiercely contested elections. Nigerians this morning are calling on the Independent Electoral Commission to expedite action on declaration of result. At the streets of the Abuja, the National Coalition state continues to be heavily guarded and quiet. Some Nigerians are urging the electoral management body, INEC, to focus on its constitutionally mandated role and never budge to pressure.
They should take their time to get the real result, because of after the election, everybody is trying to play his own role, which is the party agent and other party members. If they make it fast, they will end up giving the wrong person. But if they take their time, we believe that anything they put out there is the real result.
Our expectation of INEC is that the right thing should be done according to the Constitution. And I believe if they follow what the Constitution says, everybody would have no option but to comply with the results as long as it follows what the Constitution says. That's my opinion about it.
Are the delays justified?
I'll be honest to say it's a bit worrisome what might be causing the delay. And I think, like the average Nigerian, we're all asking questions. What's causing the delay? What's causing the delay? So we want to hear what the replies are.
The INEC, they try on their own. Now we are just watching them, let them complete the preliminary result. Let us see who they want to give us. Because the way we are seeing, it's not like the way Nigerian youth to vote was the one who they want try to give. But all now, we cannot just decide anything. We are waiting for them until they bring the result. We see who they will declare.
So some views from the streets of the capital Abuja, and there's been a response from the federal government to the former president Olusegun Obasanjo, who yesterday called for the electoral results to be cancelled for fresh elections. And the response is pretty simple: don't truncate electoral process. And it reads that the federal government has urged the former president Olusegun Obasanjo not to truncate the 2023 general elections with his inciting, self-serving and provocative letter on the election. So there'll be a lot more on this for you if you stay with us here on 3FM and on TV3, as well as on our various social media handles, because our man Komla Kluche is there for us and on standby, providing up-to-the-minute speed details here on your election command center. But you're listening to the news here on 3FM 92.7. We're returning to Ghana, this time to the quarters of the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry, because the minister there, Samuel Abujinapo, has disclosed cartels are finding ways to evade security task force deployed to clamp down on illegal mining activities. Government in 2017 began a crackdown on Galamsey, leading to several arrests and mining equipment being confiscated. Other policies, such as a ban on mining and forest reserves, policing of water bodies, among others, have since been introduced. But according to the minister, these policies, though yielding results with some of the polluted water bodies gradually clearing up, criminal cartels continue to find more ingenious ways to evade detection and arrest. He's been speaking at a press briefing here in Accra.
Currently, reclamation is ongoing in over 1,000 hectares of degraded lands in Ashanti, Eastern and Western regions. This year, the apprenticeship, skills training and entrepreneurship model of the program will be rolled out and is expected to provide training for some 5,000 youth in agriculture, technical, vocational, industrial, and mining skills. These gamut of measures have yielded some positive results, with most of our river bodies visibly clearing up and the turbidity levels improving. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not to suggest that we have rid our country of illegal mining. We have not. As we speak, the cartels involved in these illegalities continue to operate and are finding every means to outwit us. But we will continue to adopt the necessary measures to ensure that we come to grips with this canker. Let me assure the country, on behalf of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, that we will not relent on our efforts in this noble undertaking.
That's the Lands and Natural Resources Minister, John Samuel Abujinapo, rather, speaking there. We'll move away from this and bring you some more matters here in the country, because nearly 150 experienced nurses and other health professionals from the Pantang Hospital have left the shores of the country in search of greener pastures in the last 6 years. Of the number, 100 are specialized psychiatric and general nurses, while the rest consist of doctors, pharmacists, technicians, and other experienced personnel in the healthcare delivery chain. This will not be the first time a phenomenon of brain drain will be reported in health facilities in the country due to varied reasons. General Secretary of the Ghana Registered Nurses Association, Dr. David Chum Tinkran, says until the conditions of service improves, the situation will not change.
You can work for 50 years as a nurse after graduate, after university, and you will not receive any allowance apart from the meager salary that you are receiving. The condition of service is appalling. And there were other things. For instance, we had something we call car waiver. So, for instance, if you had somebody outside, or if you did some locum, you worked very hard, you were able to buy a car from outside, you could, clear the car without paying so much. All those things were removed. And my brother, now, if I calculate that premium to my basic salary, I think it was 50% in 2012 or 2011. It's like 16% of 20% now. So all the gains have been eroded, and we keep informing government, we keep approaching government about the need to do something substantial for medicine in Ghana so that we can retain them. And it's not happening. So I'm not surprised at all that they are leaving, and they will leave in groups, and nobody can stop them.
And that's the General Secretary of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association speaking there. There's some news coming through from the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Says an update on the Northern Development Authority case, the Republic versus Sumaila Abdullahi Rahman and 3 others, and says that case management conference has been completed today. The case adjourned to the 4th, 5th and 6th of April 2023 for full trial. The trial will proceed for 3 consecutive days at the High Court sitting in Tamale. That's the Special Prosecutor providing updates on the case in which corruption allegations have been brought against some individuals in the Northern Development Authority. And as and when there's a lot more, we'll provide them for you here on 3FM 92.7. Our top stories this afternoon. In the last minutes, the Health Minister, Kweku Agyeman-Menu, he's failed to appear before the Health Committee of Parliament over shortage of essential vaccines across the country. We've been live to Parliament, where the consensus really from the committee is that a subpoena will be served on the minister. We've been hearing from Professor David Abdullahi as well on the calls for political parties to train their youth before picking up legislator positions. A lot more for you if you stay with us this afternoon, because the world has been paying tribute to arguably the greatest player of all time, as Lionel Messi won a record 7th FIFA Best Player Award. It was a clean sweep for Argentina, as coach Lionel Scaloni and keeper Emiliano Martinez won top awards on the night. Messi was widely tipped to win the Best Player Award following his historic World Cup triumph with Argentina ahead of club teammate Kylian Mbappe and Real Madrid's Karim Benzema. My colleague Kamala Adum reports.
The little boy from Rosario, Argentina, on behalf of every little boy wearing his shirt. Messi on 1 million backs. Messi for 1 million flashbulbs. Messi potentially to crown his stellar career.
Another calendar year, another individual trophy for the greatest footballer of all time, King Lionel Messi.
The winner and officially the best player of the world, Leo Messi, campeón del mundo, Argentina. Felicidades.
Once the 35-year-old won the World Cup in Qatar, it was difficult to look beyond him.
36 years since Maradona and Mexico. Here, finally, is a nation's new throng of immortals. Scaloni will be fated. Messi will be sainted.
Football wrote a perfect script, and with the lead character Lionel Messi acting it out to perfection.
Lionel Messi has conquered his final peak. Lionel Messi has shaken hands with paradise.
Messi's 7 goals and 3 assists were enough to win Argentina their 3rd World Cup trophy, while racking up 35 goals and 30 assists in 51 games in 2022. It was a fitting tribute to his Argentine teammates and coach, who gave their all to ensure the Albiceleste won their 3rd World Cup trophy. Messi described winning the World Cup as the best moment of his career.
Que Dios me iba a regalar un mundial y no sé por qué lo sentía, pero lo sentía muy fuerte y creo que el momento que eligió fue.
The diminutive Argentine, by Monday's FIFA Best Men's Player Award, now has a record 7 trophies, 2 more than arch-rival Cristiano Ronaldo. He has also won a record 7 Ballon d'Ors.
The best player of the history of the world. Messi the best! Messi the best!
Coaches and football stars around the world have been paying tribute to the legacy of King Lionel Messi.
Best football in the world is Messi.
The best is Messi.
I think Messi is the best player in the world. I think he deserves it, as long as he plays.
Barcelona superstar Alexia Putellas was also adjudged FIFA's best female player, the 2nd time she's won the trophy in a row.
The little boy from Rosario, Santa Fe, has just pitched up in heaven. He climbs into a galaxy of his own. He has his crowning moments.
For many, Lionel Messi embodies football. Unlike the greats before him, the Argentine superstar will go down as arguably the greatest to grace the green turf, the greatest to ever do it, the greatest that ever was.
The greatest player of his age finally has the greatest accolade football can afford him.
And that report by my colleague Komla Adom, ending this afternoon's edition of the news here on 3FM 92.7. Well, if opinions do matter, mine is simply one. He is the greatest of all time. Della Michelle is on standby to bring us the very latest